Greg Huff here at the Bassmaster Classic Media Day with Lowrance Pro David Walker. Congratulations on another classic. Good luck. I want to talk to you a little bit about sweet spots, spot on the spots. Big tournaments, be they classics or Elite Series events, you always hear guys talking about finding a sweet spot or a spot on the spot. Tell me how you use your maps and your Lowrance electronics to find a spot on the spot, and then how you work that through a tournament.
Right. Yeah. You know, you got these maps that are in there. Now, the Insight maps that we have there this
The Insight Genesis maps?
Unbelievable, the detail on those. I mean, so much detail that when you zoom it out, what's cool is it doesn't continue all the finite detail, but when you zoom in, when you get to that point, say I'm running down the lake and I'm looking for secondary points, I can zoom out and I can see in the pockets the secondary points, the ones that maybe stick out, maybe the ones that I'm looking for.
Yeah.
I'll go to that point. Now, the cool part is that took me right to the point. I don't have to hunt for it. I don't have to guess where I'm at. My arrow is on the map and it shows me where I'm at, what direction I'm heading, how long I'm going to be there. I go straight to the spot. This is on a lake I've never been before.
Right.
I can drive straight to that spot. Now I zoom it in and I start seeing those 1 foot details going all the way around that point. Now, instead of it just being a point, all of a sudden there might be a flat on one side. There might be a ditch on the other side. This side might be the steep side.
Right.
So instead of fishing my way around that whole point, now I can go straight to the spot within a spot,
right,
where that break is, where those hard spots is, where's the rubble on there, some stumps, and you see that. Map over it with your side scan and your down scan imaging. You can see the fish, you see the details, you know what's down there. It tells you exactly what's there, and you can go right back to it, mark that on your waypoint, you fish around there. This is where I want to be. That's the cast I want to make. I can mark that waypoint. When I come back to it, I set my boat on that same spot and I make that same cast, and I can go back to it day after day, no matter what the conditions, and I know I'm in the right spot making the right cast.
You mentioned using the 1 foot contours on your Insight Genesis map to be able to see irregularities on a point or a piece of structure. Talk about how important that is. I mean, some other maps you see, there's a point and it's just, you know, it might as well just be sort of a finger with, you know, no deviation in line. But in reality, in nature, that's not how anything is. There are irregularities. Talk about, in your experience as an Elite Series Pro, how you find bass, how they congregate to those irregular areas.
Sure. You know, for the most part, fish tend to relate to an edge of something. If there's a difference, if you've got a static bank, that's something that's always constant. If there's a little change in there, those fish always tend to hang around those areas. So like when you're saying those 1 foot contours, I can see where those little changes are without having to go back and forth and fish over them and over them. The map already shows me where I need to start looking, which is going to be right here. And, you know, it just makes it so much easier. So my time management now, instead of 3 days of practice, me trying to cover maybe a third of the lake, now I can cover nearly all the lake because I already have that map. I already have the legwork done for me.
Yep.
I can go right to those spots and check them out and look for the fish on there and eliminate areas or find classic winning spots.
Right. One of the further the next step of Insight Genesis, beyond downloading the map that you got from the social map, is actually while you're graphing during the tournament, just pushing 3 buttons and recording your sonar data and creating a map of all the areas that you're checking out. When you do that, you're able to create a hard bottom map that maps out in the same way that you get your 1 foot contours, all the areas of the hard bottoms, the shape and the size of it. Tell me how being able to do that gives you another more time management and just helps you dial in more on the spot.
Exactly. I mean, it shows how cool this is. We're starting to get to the point now where what's below the water surface isn't so much in your imagination now. Now you get the reality of it, right? Because before you used to fish a spot and you kind of pictured how it was. You know, there's places on lakes that I fished 20 years ago that we used to fish a lot, and we'd mark them with a jug or something, and we'd go back to them, and we get our lineups on the bank over there, and we kind of imagined what it looked like. Just because we'd been there enough and we'd drug enough lures across there, we kind of had a feel for it. with these new maps like that, it shows you where the hard spots are.
Yeah.
It shows you right where you need to fish. It's unbelievable how much time that will save you right there. And it's all in that one unit that you just turn the thing on. I mean, how much easier could that be? But it does all those things for you. You know, the electronics that we're using today, I have this conversation often about, you know, the way it was 10 years ago, which in fishing terms, you think back, you know, that wasn't all that many events. In our electronics terms, that was centuries ago.
Yeah.
I mean, it was literally, I cannot believe how much better the electronics are getting. And I don't expect them. It's not like when I look at it, I think, well, I wish it would do this or I wish it would do that. Every year I get my new units and I power them up. I'm like, wow, I can't believe it does this. And
Right.
It's so much faster. It's so much more detailed. And there's so much more user-friendly equipment, right? I mean, they sound complicated. When you sit down and tell somebody all the things it'll do, you overwhelm them with like, well, that's too complicated.
Right.
It is not. It's so easy to use. And with the touch screens, you just point and touch where you want it to be. You can customize the screens. And, you know, that stuff just makes it so easy. So I don't have to relearn how to use my units.
Yeah. All right. Well, good luck in the Classic. Thanks a lot for your time. Take care.